Hey folks, the other day I finally reached the 400% experience gain cap in Legion Remix, and contrary to what a lot of people seem to think, it did not require me leveling 10 additional characters. I've only actually leveled 4. I made a Death Knight, a Paladin, a Monk, and of course the Demon Hunter that you currently see. So, I don't want to bury the lead here. The main way that I did this, and the really powerful strategy that I'm going to be discussing in this video, is Starter Edition accounts. If you played Mop Remix, you may be familiar with them. They were very powerful for boosting, and there is still some potential there, which I will probably discuss in a separate video, but that is not the reason that I'm going to be discussing them here, because Starter Edition accounts are extremely powerful at both A, farming the experience increase, but also farming bronze for anybody that really wants that. Now, personally, I have more bronze than I know what to do with, largely because of this method, but if you have less time to play, and you want to get as much bronze as possible, this strategy will actually help you in that sense, even more than the experience gain increase. But I'll wait until a little bit later in the video to talk about exactly how those starter accounts fit into the picture. First, I want to give a general overview for anyone unfamiliar with how this experience increase works, how you increase it, what the main sources are, etc. Because even though I think a lot of those things have been covered to death by a million clickbait YouTubers, I do feel that it would be remiss of me to not mention it in this video as well. So, for starters, the main way that you're going to get experience increase tokens is by completing the zone campaigns. So, Campaign Suramar, Campaign Azuna, they give this item called Perfected Epic Memento, and there's 5 campaign achievements in total, which means that you can get a total of 50% increased experience by doing these achievements. You'll probably want to do them anyway, because questing, even at max level, is a really good way to gain power, so this is something most people want to do very early on in Legion Remix. And on my very first run, I did 3 different campaign achievements. I did Val'sharah, High Mountain, and Stormheim. I also got some additional epic mementos from the one-time intro quests, and then I got the 10% from hitting max level on my Demon Hunter, in addition to some of the research quests, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and I had a total of 72% increased experience. I think it was within 1% of that number. So I had a decent chunk of increased experience even after my very first character, but from then on, it starts to slow down a little bit. You can't farm these campaign achievements. You can only get them one time. So when you've run out of the 50% from here, the only consistent way to get increased experience is from infinite research, because every time you do one of these, you get an epic resonance. An epic resonance will give you 1% increased experience gains to your entire account. So I got to ballpark 100% from my first character and completing all the zone achieves, and then the remaining 300% will come entirely from the 1% tokens, and if you get a character to max level, you get a Perfected Epic Memento for another 10%. But that's actually inefficient compared to just farming infinite research, because every single character can pick up 18 of these tasks, and you also get a reset of 3 per day. And although at face value it may seem really insane to farm up to the 400% experience cap by doing these 1% of the time, it's significantly easier when you factor in the Starter Edition accounts. Now, in case you're unfamiliar with how to set up a Starter Edition account, I'll give you a quick walkthrough using one of my alt accounts, because it has no Starter Edition accounts currently attached to it. You can see here, if I go to the dropdown, all I have is the regular World of Warcraft thing here. There are no currently attached Starter Edition accounts to this one. But now, if I go to the World of Warcraft website, and I go up here to Account, Login, don't worry, of course, I'm going to censor my login details. And now that I'm logged into the Battle.net page, I'm going to go down to Account Settings. On this page, I'm going to scroll down a little bit to Games and Subscriptions, then scroll down further, and create a Starter Edition account to start playing World of Warcraft for free. So we can click that. Obviously, depends on your region, but for me, it would be Americas and Oceania. I'll click Create Account, and boom, we have a Starter Edition account. So now if I go back over to the Battle.net launcher and I click this dropdown, there's 2 different accounts listed here. There's WoW 1 and WoW 2 Starter Edition. So going here shows all of the, brand new account, unupgraded stuff. And if I wanted to, I can log into this account. And from here, I can create a brand new time running character. That and boom. And because these are separate World of Warcraft accounts, you can run them at the exact same time. And just in case you're brand new to World of Warcraft and you aren't familiar, yes, this is 100% within the terms of use. Every time I talk about multi-boxing in any sense, people who are less familiar freak out because some games don't allow it. World of Warcraft very explicitly does. That is why you're able to do this. But here's a question for you. If we can already make one Starter Edition account and level with 2 characters at the same time, completely for free, mind you, why stop there? Why only make one starter edition account when we can make multiple? So if I go back over to create starter account, what if I just hit this button a few more times? Create starter account. Create starter account. Well, let's hit it a fourth time. And now, if I look back over at my BattleNet launcher, I have, actually, I hit it one more time than I needed. I have 5 starter edition accounts. Really, you would only need 4, because now that you have 4 starter edition accounts, in addition to your main account, you can farm 5 sets of infinite research at the exact same time by building your very own dungeon party. Now, it should go without saying that this does require at least a tiny bit of investment on your part, but as you can see here, I am in the game with both my main accounts and 3 starter edition accounts, and again, you can do this with 4 starter accounts, and I have one playing every single different role. Now, they're not actually playing that role, because I am individually controlling each account. I'm mostly just putting 4 of them on follow, on my main, and then soloing heroic dungeons. And by doing that, I can simultaneously level up my second main account, and I can farm infinite research assignments on all 3 of the starter edition accounts at the exact same time. So basically, I'm completing 5 infinite research assignments for the time it takes me to do 1. And if you're brand new to Legion Remix, this may sound completely insane. You may think that this is impractical other than people who have been super duper hardcore grinding since the start. And although, yes, my Demon Hunter is very high investment, it does not really take that much time to reach a point where you can solo normal or heroic dungeons. And if you're really uncomfortable with soloing heroic dungeons, normals do work fine for the vast majority of this. Being able to run heroics is a little bit more efficient, just because there's certain infinite research quests you'll get offered that require you to do a heroic dungeon. But believe me, even if you invest just a few hours into your character at either max level or level 20, if you want to build a level 20 twink, you can solo these, which means that you can just drag 4 extra accounts completely for free along with you as you solo run dungeons and farm tons of XP percent. In fact, although in my particular case, I was boosting using my main account level 80 DH just because I also wanted to farm infinite power at the same time, I would say that if your goal is to reach maximum experience in the shortest amount of time possible, this is not the way to do it. I would actually advise trying to heavily invest time into one of your level 20s in particular on your starter edition accounts, because those are easy to replace, and they're also very easy to set up. So if you spend a minimal amount of time getting one of those level 20s to be super powerful, then you could start leveling a character on your main account as you do this. And although leveling a new character at 200% increased experience won't be as fast as if you waited until you cap the experience increase, I managed to level up 3 characters while doing this process to reach the max XP gain. I ended up getting 3 max level characters out of the deal while I was already farming, and, as I mentioned before, whenever you get a character to level 80, they get a perfected epic memento, which gives you 10% increased experience. So doing this will further shave off the amount of grinding that you need in order to reach 400% increased experience. I will admit that if you are looking to build a level 20 twink, it is considerably more difficult this time around than it was in Mop Remix, if you remember that. I will have a video coming out probably next week, which discusses level 20 twinks in more detail, because there is still some potential there, as showcased by this video, but I don't expect that it is going to be quite literally the best strategy as it was before. It's just a really good and easy way to boost up a lot of your characters on your main account if you don't want to invest that much time. As a final note, if you are interested in leveling up a bunch of different characters now that you've gotten your 400% increase bonus, I am currently working on a leveling guide that I will be posting on my main channel within the next 2 to 3 days. And initially this was going to be a subsection of it, but I figured this was kind of niche, kind of complicated, so I just wanted to turn it into a bonus second channel video that hopefully you found useful. So I've covered everything that you really need to know in order to hit 400% increased experience. Stay tuned for that main channel leveling guide, and I will catch you in the next one.